Alright guys, back to the battle report. Sorry I've taken a little while getting these up. I've had a cold, probably the very cool Wellington weather, but now we're on to game 5, 6, 7, yeah, game number 5. It's Circle against Kador, and the actual scenario that we're playing is called Capture the Flag. One interesting thing is that the draw was done for this game on the previous day, so now we're into the Sunday of the weekend, and overnight had an opportunity to talk to some of my my companions about my matchup, knowing that it was going to be against Tom and his Kador here, and the the advice that I got was obviously to use a lot of movement shenanigans, try and outmaneuver him, but generally the consensus was that I was going to get crushed because Tom, being a good player, he's playing well this weekend, and his lists, he had eSorscha and Epic Vlad, both able to do a lot of damage to me, and I would have to play my best to manage to take this one out. So looking here, I've got my guys deployed all the way around the left here. I've taken first turn as well. But it's Kromac. I've decided with Kromac because I'd need Wild Aggression against his Winterguard for sure, and I think Ikaya really, although I had a lot of beasts there to put in that Alpha Strike, I don't think I'd be able to get around his high defense, and I really need Warpath in this game. The Wolf Riders would be useful as well. Next image, he's deployed basically entirely centrally. He's got his Widowmakers sent up forward. I had a big think about whether I would be praying the Widowmakers, and I thought, well, if I pray them, I should be able to run up and kill 3 of them if he's gonna just leave them there. He might not realize that the Wolf Riders have Hunter, and if he runs away, then I won't really have anything else to kill. That'll be the drawback. But the thing is, the Wolf Riders are just not going to be able to kill much else in this list. I mean, really, they are a bit stumped this game because a lot of the targets either have armor, which is just way too high, or defense, which is way too high. So in the end, I just went for the Widowmakers. Next image, a bit of a close-up. As you can see here, he's got a maximum unit of Winterguard with a couple of rocket launchers. And, yeah, he's going to be iron-fleshing those guys and using them as a screen, probably, with Kovnik Joe behind them to give them tough. Can't believe how powerful Winterguard are. They seem like such an insignificant unit, but in the context of a Kador list, they are just so fearsome. Great painting on his guys, though, especially Drago in the background. Oh, Beast 09, rather. Next image, a bit more of a close-up of my army. Glad to be at 40 points, getting the Wolf Riders in there. Wolf Riders are quite a useful unit if you can use them correctly, but, you know, I've used them a number of games, still sort of getting the gist of them in some cases, and with some of these new matchups, it's always a bit of a challenge as to what to use as the prey target. Speaking to my opponent after this game was finished, he actually recommended that I should have prayed either eSorscha or Kovnik Joe and just run around the back and attacked, and I think that might have been a good idea, but that is not what I chose to do. Of course, I chose to pray the Widowmakers. So, next image, here's my first turn. The plan here is just to stay back and wait for him to come to my side, and as soon as he comes within the threat ranges of my beast, I might be able to rush forward, try and kill something, and then lightning strike back, and all the while the Wolf Riders will be harassing his forces, and that's the best I can come up with, really. Next image, he's moved his Winterguard up, having a crack at the Wolf Riders, which are defense 19 at this point, so luckily I managed to survive any hits. But he has left his guys in these ruins, and with the photo you can't really see where the guys are, but there is a unit of 4 of them, and they're all standing in the cover of those ruins there behind the walls. So next photo, you can sort of see here a bit more of a top view. This is his second activation with the Winterguard coming up. What I thought he would do is I thought he would run the Winterguard up in front of the Widowmakers to stop me from just getting straight at the Widowmakers themselves with the Wolf Riders, and had he done that I might have had to back off. But instead he just moved up here, shot some rockets off, and managed to miss me. Didn't kill any of the Wolf Riders, luckily. Next image, here the Wolf Riders are. What I've done here is I've rushed forward and... no, this is actually... Oh, I can't quite remember. I think this is still his turn, actually. He's moved up further. No, sorry. What I've done here is I've actually moved up and attacked, and I've killed 3 of the Widowmakers and then pulled back 5 inches behind the terrain again. So essentially this is where the Wolf Riders started their activation. They also ended their activation here, but they've rushed out, killed a few Widowmakers, come back, and then we're in his turn again because I just didn't do anything with the rest of my turn. So he's moved up for another shot at the Wolf Riders with his Winterguard this time, and landing a rocket on one of them and killing one of the Wolf Riders dead, so leaving me with just 2 of them. Next image, his Man of War Drakhun guy, the solo on the horse, charges over here. Well, doesn't charge over here, runs over here. Doesn't quite get me in melee range, but this will give me an opportunity to either attack him or run away. And I think just given the fact that he's such a tough solo and I haven't managed to prey him, I'm going to have to be pulling back. So next photo, this is my next turn here. The Wolf Riders have completely fled. They've exchanged a 2-point Wolf Rider for, well, essentially 2-point. It's 1 out of 6. 2-point Wolf Rider for 3 Widowmakers. So, yeah, not the best trade. Would have preferred the extra Wolf Rider. But not much else I could have done, really. Just waiting for him to come towards me and trying to think of a plan to deal with the Winterguard. Hopefully he'll bunch them off enough so I can berserk them with my Lightning Strike Wolf Stalker. Next image, he does indeed move up with the Winterguard, huddling fairly close, but still keeping a little bit of a gap out. And he's got his Devastator up frontally as well, knowing that I can't really destroy that guy because he's armor 25, and if I do engage him, he'll attack me with his Beast 09 in the background. So just having to try and play cagey here. He's pulled back his Man of War a little bit, and is just content to continue to put the pressure on, able to get a few shots off with his rockets and Winterguards. So I think time may well be on his side, but if things keep going as they are, I'm going to have to commit at some point, or just wait for timeout, the timeout that is. Next image, since he'd brought his Winterguard in fairly close, I charged in with my Wolf Stalker, activated with Berserk. He's got Wild Aggression on him, and Kromac put Lightning Strike on him. So with that in mind, you can see a small little region around that broken piece of terrain right in the middle of the table, where the Wolf Stalker's charged in, used Warpath after he's cleared out the first couple of guys to clear out another couple of guys, and he's Lightning Strike back 6 inches. He still will be in range of the Man of War solo that back there, but that means that if he commits to me, I can then counterattack him with everything I've got and hopefully pick off that solo. But in the meantime, I've killed about 4 Winterguard there, so a bit of a plus. Even with Iron Flesh on them, the Wild Aggression Stalker is able to do it all right. What I've done with the Gnarlhorn, though, is just to batter the Devastator and to knock him back about 5 inches, knocking down one of the Winterguard as well. This will mean that he'll have to spend a bit of extra focus getting the Devastator back up. He may charge me with Beast 09 at this stage, but the Gnarlhorn is armor 20, so hopefully I'll survive. Although, having said that, Beast 09, if anything's going to kill the Gnarlhorn, it's going to be that guy. Next image, he does counterattack me here. He's got his Warjacks up in front in combat. He has an attack with the Devastator, of course, since doing so would mean he drops to armor 17. Gorman D W has come in and put black oil on the Gnarlhorn as well, and of course the Drakhun solo attacking the Wolf Stalker. And I've got to say that my opponent this turn had some terrible luck. Every time he went to make a dice roll, it's just low rolling here and there and here and there. I think he may have popped his feet this turn, can't quite remember, but either way, his dice rolls were just so astronomically low that he couldn't seal a deal, and he didn't actually end up killing either of these war beasts, which is a huge shock. So going to the next photo, I decided to make him pay for his bad luck, which is kind of mean, but I did it anyway. The Wolf Riders haven't really been able to do anything here. They just moved in to engage the Winterguard since they've got no real role left to play. And I've counterattacked onto the Man of War solo with the Lightning Strike Stalker. Well, not this Lightning Strike Stalker, he just warped strength at this point. Didn't bother with the Animus, but he's smashed him apart with a sword. The other Stalker on the left has put Primal on himself. Well, the Gorax has done that, and he has charged Beast 09 and ripped him up. So running the Beast fairly hot this turn, but the damage has been done here. The Gnarlhorn moving over to smash Gorman, and looking like I'm in a really good position to take this. I've also put the Shifting Stones in a position where it'll be difficult for him to trample over them and get to Kromac, so hopefully that trick pays off and Kromac survives, because if I can continue this, looks like I might be able to win the game, given that the Winterguard have been slightly reduced and his big heavy hitters have been taken down. So next photo, he moves around with his Devastator and uses his Steam AoE effect to do some damage. Doesn't quite kill anything though. I think he does pick off the Wolf Rider, but not the Stalker, of course. Stalker will be frenzying into him next turn. And next photo after that, it looks like the Winterguard have tried to move around. They can quite easily ignore free strikes and do some shots, but just not enough to kill Kromac, not enough to kill anything else. And you know, all of his activations end with my Warbeast still alive, which is very fortunate. Kromac actually did use his feat at this point to heal most of the Warbeasts, just cutting himself 7 times and healing all lost aspects, putting Animi on. I've already lost the Druid Wilder to one of his stray rocket hits. So if you go to the next photo, that pretty much ends it. I've got everything in combat here, the Black Cloud moving around, and a guy comes over to call dice down. We'd spent a lot of time during our turns, and we've run out of time here, and it came to the fact that I'd inflicted slightly more damage to him than he had to me. Neither of us has scored any control points because of Capture the Flag being quite a hard one to get points on. And I ended up taking up the win, and it felt like one of the better games of the weekend, because I felt like I didn't make too many mistakes. I played very well. My opponent probably lost more to bad luck than anything else, but I was proud of being able to hold my own in this game against a better opponent and a better list, and that was quite a highlight for me. So going into Game 5, I've finally pulled ahead with 3 wins, 2 losses, so if I can keep things up, I might be able to end the tournament in the top half. But we'll see more of that soon. Thanks, guys.